What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Recently we learned about the heat wave that had been happening in the UK, but turns out the entire continent of Europe literally looks like it's on fire based off of this map here. I have no idea what the different temperatures are going to be in the different European countries, but we do know that the UK reached the hottest temperature on record for June, and it got close to reaching the all-time record, I believe.
Wow.
I think the all-time record was 40 point some degrees Celsius, which is roughly 104 degrees and some change, which honestly is very hot, especially for somewhere like the UK where you know that the majority of the country doesn't have air conditioning in their houses. And also we know through learning about the UK that the homes in general are built to retain heat instead of keep cool. You know, if you go down into Mediterranean climates, southern climates, the houses tend to be built to keep cool. And that's not the case in the UK. And I'm guessing that's probably not the case in a lot of Europe, specifically Northern Europe. You know, you look at France, you look at Germany and Poland and so forth and so on. I'm guessing these homes will probably be more built for keeping insulation than keeping cool.
I honestly can't imagine dealing with this heat that we're dealing with and not having the reprieve of air conditioning.
I know.
Especially at night when you're sleeping.
Yeah,
I don't know how you guys handle it. I really don't.
I think a lot comes down to not just heat though. What's the dew point and what's the humidity? Because if the dew point and humidity are also high, that makes everything that much more brutal. You know, and if you're sleeping in high humidity and high dew points, you're going to wake up in a puddle all the time.
Or not be able to sleep.
And even if you get in the shade, if it's a high enough dew point, the air overall doesn't feel any cooler, really. So it depends on humidity and dew point as well. Anyways, guys, the reason I wanted to check out this particular video is because this title grabbed my attention. Not only are the temperatures breaking records, you're also seeing a lot of people dying from this heat wave. Now, in any heat wave, even here in the US where you have air conditioning and whatnot, you will always find a small amount of people may unfortunately pass away. The vulnerable populations are at risk and whatnot. But seeing 1,000 people dead in 4 days is mind-boggling. I can't imagine that. And so that makes me want to know what the temperatures are, what's going on, because that's obviously brutal for something like that to take place.
1,000 people dead in 4 days. The hottest day France has ever recorded.
Ever.
The Eiffel Tower closing its own doors against the heat. A football player drowned trying to cool off in the river. Scientists say nights this hot are now 100 times more likely than 20 years ago.
100 times more likely?
Wow, that's crazy. But one thing I wanted to bring up real quick, we had actually heard that some people in the UK, I believe they were younger, like maybe the age of that football player, had unfortunately passed away because of jumping into water as well. And it's like, I had never heard about that.
Yeah, I had never heard that was a thing either. Because, I mean, it's always gotten hot in the summer here.
Right.
But I, never gave it a second thought to get in water, bodies of water.
I've throughout my life, I've jumped into ponds, jumped into lakes and rivers, and was never really a thing that I thought of or, thought would be a risk of some sort when it comes to the temperature.
Yeah.
You do notice it being cooler. But I just don't know the mechanism for that. I'm wondering, it's like some sort of shock. I don't know exactly what happens there, but that water has to be a lot colder than, I just don't know how it's still that frigid if it's that hot. You know what I mean?
The sky itself has turned into a weapon.
He brings hell to Europe. Man, that's crazy, man.
Oh my goodness.
France's record-breaking heat wave has claimed close to 1,000 lives, with health officials warning the toll is far from final.
Oh my goodness.
Public Health France said in a statement on June 28th that around 1,000 excess deaths had been recorded since June 24th, compared with the usual death rate for this time of year. So
I was wondering if they knew they were all heat-related, but if it is excess compared to what you normally see at this time of year, and it just so happens you're having one of the worst heat waves you've had in a very long time, or maybe ever, because they reached the record day, I guess that does show you that it is because of the heat, which I would guess it probably is if they don't have access to air conditioning or, whatnot.
Relief from it.
Yeah.
The vast majority, 85%, involved people aged 65 or over. The worst hit regions were those placed under red heat alerts, including Île-de-France, Nouvelle-Aquitaine,
Was that 43
Brittany,
Celsius?
Centre-Val de Loire, Normandie, and Pays de la Loire.
All right, guys, I want to look up what 43 degrees is Celsius to Fahrenheit. All right, guys, so 43 degrees Celsius is 109.4.
109?
And I must say, just like in the UK, I don't normally expect to see temperatures of 104. I don't expect to see temperatures of 109 in Europe in general. No, I feel like Europe's climate, at least Northern Europe, would be kind of, it's usually much more mild. And obviously it is because this is known to be a record heat wave. That's wild. 109 degrees is no joke.
And no air conditioning.
Right. That's the thing. It really does make me wonder what the humidity and the dew point is during this time as well, because that can completely change what you're experiencing on the ground and the feel of it. Yeah.
More than 30 French departments spent much of the week under that red alert, and June 24th became the country's hottest day on record.
Oh my goodness.
The average temperature over 24 hours reaching 30 degrees Celsius. In Paris, the strain on emergency services prompted authorities to ban public drinking over the weekend.
Oh,
the city's
wow.
Pride March, originally set for June 27th,
public drinking
was postponed. Both the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre began closing early to cope with the heat.
That's my apartment.
It's really hot in my apartment. We live on the last floor, so we also want to study. We also want to continue our life normally, but it's almost impossible. Like, I knew by my neighbor that the town hall is open, so the first thing we did, we came to the town hall to study, to continue our work, because, at some point, even with the fan, it's not working in the house, so we had to find another place. And it's nice that we have this.
Okay, so it sounds like the town hall's air conditioning.
Probably,
that's why they went there.
Yeah.
Well, it's good they have access to that, because I know that studying, if it's... I don't know what his home is like. I don't know what the homes are like in a lot of Europe. I don't know if they're similar to the way UK is. But like we said, in the UK, we know that the homes are built to retain heat. And if that is the same in a majority of Europe, I can only imagine what it feels like in there trying to study and trying to focus. That's almost impossible. Because even up here right now,
with the fan on, we have the ceiling fan.
We have a ceiling fan going,
blowing around hot air.
Yeah, even up here, it's just like I couldn't do much studying right now up here. There's no way. I'm just feeling sweaty. It's just like
I couldn't sleep in this either.
No, there's no. We have though. I do want to say that a lot of people think, oh, you just always had air conditioning or whatnot. No, we've had periods of time where we lived places where we didn't have access to AC, and then you would get to the summer and it would be absolutely brutal. So we have experienced that. It's just, it's not fun.
It's just if I have the choice, I'm not going to.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, around here, it isn't like, if you didn't have air conditioning, it would be absolutely unbearable because it gets to 90 plus degrees Fahrenheit, up to, 100 degrees Fahrenheit, whatnot, high humidity, high dew point, and it stays that way for the majority of the summer. So it's not like you get it for a week and then it goes away. It's like... So
you have those temperatures that you were talking about, but then it feels hotter because...
Dew point stuff. The corn sweats. We have corn sweats here, but, without air conditioning, that's that, and the way the homes retain heat, I think that's the most unbearable part of it.
All that to say, we feel for you guys.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
As residents sought relief in parks and along canals, the dangers of unsupervised swimming turned fatal.
Oh my God.
A man drowned in the canal St. Martin on the night of June 26th, prompting a blunt warning from the city's mayor. French Health Minister Stephanie Rist warned that the consequences of the heat wave could linger for up to 10 days after temperatures finally ease.
What?
Yes, there are some. Obviously, mortality is increasing, but it is not for me to communicate on that. It is for the health authorities to do so. We have more or less all the indicators that show we are in a difficult situation. It is both the calls to the SAMU, the calls to the fire brigade, admissions to emergency departments, and obviously, deaths. And so I repeat, emergency measures are necessary for our own protection and to stay hydrated, and above all, not to believe that one is invulnerable.
Football was not spared either. League Two player Kenzo Kies, 21, died after reportedly drowning in the Rhone River during the heatwave, with his club Guingamp expressing its condolences. The crisis has stretched well beyond France. Scientists describe the heat wave, which began on June 20th, as the worst Europe has ever recorded, with human-caused climate change making this week's extreme nighttime temperatures around 100 times more likely than 2 decades ago.
That's crazy.
The worst heat wave on record. Like, I was thinking it might be, but hearing that is just like, wow, that's pretty incredible to think about. You know, being on the ground there without AC and in buildings that retain heat. That, again, that is a combination that's really hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A widespread, intense, late June heat wave in Europe, as you all know, as you're all feeling, has shattered numerous temperature records. It's having major impacts on human health, on ecosystems, on agriculture, on labor productivity.
I didn't even think about agriculture.
And it's accompanied in some areas, in particular France, by worsening drought and the risk of wildfires, as well as localized storms.
I didn't think about agriculture, guys, but I know in France, at least, they have like a really big grape growing culture. And so you got to wonder how that's affecting the wineries and things like that, you know.
Germany, Poland and Italy were all forecast to near or top 40 degrees Celsius, while storms disrupted parts of France, cutting power to around 63,000 households by early June 28th.
Wait, what?
In Italy, rescuers searched for the husband of Cabinet Minister Eugenia Roccella, missing since June 27th after swimming in Lake Vico, north of Rome.
High temperatures we're seeing during the day get much of the attention, but nighttime temperatures are exceptionally high too. When temperatures stay above 20 degrees Celsius overnight, as we've seen recently, and as Claire mentioned, residences can't shed the excess heat, and that exposes people to dangerous indoor conditions. In such conditions, the body can't recover from the heat of the day.
With storm.
Okay, he said over 20 degrees Celsius. That's 68 degrees Fahrenheit. I feel like that temperature feels good, I thought.
Yeah, but if it's so hot in the day,
you can't get the heat out of the home.
Yeah, it's not allowing it to cool off as much.
Is that what they're talking about, guys? Because the houses heat up so much during the day that even if temperatures drop to, say, 68 degrees Fahrenheit,
it's not enough.
It's not enough to offset and remove the heat from the house. I bet you're right. I bet that's what they're talking about.
Storms now moving through parts of the country, France and half of the European continent are bracing for the true scale of its
What was
heatwave
that?
to become clear only in the days ahead.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
That's a beautiful. Is that a church?
It is a pretty building.
I love the symmetry.
We decided to come here quite early in the morning because the weather in these days is quite hot, so it's not easy during the afternoon to visit in a safe way.
Alrighty, guys. I must say, I feel for anyone who's dealing with heat like this and they don't at least have somewhere they can go with air conditioning.
From all the heat.
You know, it's one thing to not have access to a way to cool down when you're really overheated, you know, but it's completely different if you don't have even like a town hall or something like that to go to. Like, for example, some of the really small communities, really small towns that may not have those air-conditioned buildings, that's got to be hard, you know?
Yeah.
And I expect that there's a large portion of Europe that probably does have high humidity and high dew points as well as the high temperatures, and it just makes it much more unbearable. But guys, let us know, how's the heat where you're at? I'm hoping that the heat wave is coming to an end now, because I'm sure you guys are as well, because obviously this isn't just, you know, unpleasant. This is dangerous for a lot of people, as you can see here. Yeah. And I think I'm not 100% sure, but it seemed like this death toll was just for France. And so it makes me wonder what other parts of Europe are like in terms of the heat as well.
I was wondering that too.
Anyways, guys, I hope wherever you are, you're staying safe and keeping cool as possible. But I think that's it for us today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments or suggestions about this video or others. And don't forget to subscribe to continue to follow us on our journey. Until next time, peace.